You asked us to consider what the changes in time, space, and the presence of the light at the end of life means to us. But could you say a little bit more about what these phenomena indicate to both of you?
I'm speechless. I got to say, I mean, I went through a process. I am a skeptic, folks, and let me explain what that means. I mean, it's in the genuine philosophical sense, which means that you go through a process of, really rigorously analyzing something logically, but then in the end you withhold a conclusion. Therefore, somebody who tells you falsely, who said, I'm a skeptic about these NDEs, I think it's the chemistry of the brain, that person is just an ignoramus. You don't need to pay attention to them, obvious. I mean, truly, I could explain why. But where I am, I realize as a logician, there is no current methodology whereby you can draw a logical, genuine, sound, logical inference that there is an afterlife. That is the reality, unless you add some principles to your thinking, which is possible now. But in that skeptical position, I know I can't draw a logical conclusion, but I gotta say, I give up. I give up. I can't. My whole way of life is I try to think myself out of every possible thing that I could assert to be true. I mean, that's because that's the best way to and happiest way to do it. But I've run out of pathways. To me, it's just, to my utter astonishment, there is an afterlife, and that we can have these experiences where we sort of temporarily pop over there. That's what I think. And I'm not trying to persuade anybody else of that. I was responding to the question how, and in terms of the spiritual side, wow. Yeah, I think it has really brought me, I mean, God came to me through these near-death experiences. That's how I got in. And I'm still not religious, folks, not religious. But so that's how I've tried to process it.
Thank you, Raymond. How about you, William? Would you want to?
Yeah, I've always thought, that the shift or change in the time-space continuum, or as Raymond calls it, the change in the geometry of the room, I think that's the sign that we are moving into another dimension. And as I alluded to in the modules when I was teaching in the PowerPoint, there's often a change in frequency in the ears that you can hear. And so it seems to be an energetic shift. I mean, at the end of the day, we're energetic beings. And so when you hear that change in frequency, we're going into a different dial on the radio channel. If you understand what I'm saying, we are moving out of the human realm and into another dimension. What's interesting is we're both here and we're tuning into somewhere else. And I use that language specifically. We are tuning our energetic dial to a different frequency. And that happens because that frequency is open while the death vortex is there when someone's dying. And if we can attune to that, we get drawn into it. But the effect on us is that our vision changes. So the room warps. All the physical dimensions associated with this realm, this human existence, are warped. They're changed because we are attuning to a different dimension, and that's what causes that. And then what happens is we get drawn up into that frequency. We actually, if you follow along with this, we in most cases, or many cases, not most, many cases, we will actually leave this dimension, this human realm, and go into what is often called a heavenly realm. We'll talk about that, or an out-of-body experience where things stabilize. And now you're more fully in that dimension, and the wobbly, the vision, all that instability with the physical realm goes away because you're now more fully engaged with another dimension, if you will. As far as the light is, to me, I would think Raymond's talked about this already, but that light seems to me to be the essence of existence, of the force behind everything. It is, you can call it, the great spiritual traditions and wisdom traditions had different names for it, whether it's God or Allah, Adonai, that there is this awe when you come into relationship with that light. it is divine. And that's the reports we get. I have no words for the light. It's ineffable. All I know is it was the source of everything. And that's what it means to me. I think Raymond and us, and Lisa, you as well, all of us who study these experiences, we just, get down on our knees and just say, wow, I don't understand this, but I know this is one of the most profound, if not the most profound experience, and points to the depth or essence of all of life.